Welcome back. So in that last video, I made a good start in breaking the bike apart, but now I'm ready to drop the engine. But before I do that, I want to make a small engine stand that it can sit in once it's out of the frame. I took some measurements off the bottom of the engine, so it can accommodate this absolute boat keel of a sump. Then I sketched up the basic rectangle I needed, grabbed some offcuts of wood, and got building. I offered it up to the engine to see where I needed to cut out any notches. I marked them up, then I cut them out with a force niblet in the drill press. For this one, I just used a chisel to cut out a few millimeters. I put boards over the bottom to brace it, then I marked the drain bolt with blue ink so that I could see where I needed to remove a few millimeters of wood to clear it. With that cut out, I offered it up and it fit great. So with that ticked off, I looked at my pre-engine removal list, and the only thing left was to drain the oil. Okay. I loosened the oil filter while it was still in the frame, but left it hand tight for later. Of course, Kawasaki want you to spend £40 on a special tool for the engine mount, so I figured I'd dig out an old socket and make one instead. I measured the size of the notches on the nut and marked up the socket which I put in the vise, then got grinding. After a quick file, I flipped it over and then did the other side. Following the manual, I started with the top mounting bolts, taking out the internal bolt and nut before moving to the other side. Then I lowered the bike down onto the stand, which needed a few extra blocks to clear the legs of the skylift. Then with my bodge socket, I loosened the lock nuts on the spacers. I measured the size of the hex bit I needed. I realised I didn't actually have that size, so I improvised with an old bolt with two nuts tightened together. If it works, it's not stupid, right? So moving to the rear mounts, I'd been soaking these in penetrating fluid, as I'd been warned that these tend to suffer the most from corrosion. But they both came loose, especially with the help of the impact driver. As I loosened the spacers from the rear mounts, I could see the engine start to be separating from the frame.
Wish me luck.
I say drop the engine, but really I'm lifting the frame. And it's a hell of a lot easier. As it was quite front heavy, I added a few extra lengths of wood to the base of the stand. So there we are. With the engine out, I can carry on tearing down the rolling chassis. I picked up the swing arm removal kit for the Skylift. They thread into the mounts for the footrest hangers. Then I swapped the lift onto them. This now gives me full access to the swing arm pivot bolt. But before that, I need to remove the shock. Now, little tip for future me, if you want clean video footage, don't mount your camera to the bits you're about to hit with the impact driver. Then I moved forward and began removing the front wheel and forks.
Are you putting on the green bike apart?
Taking the green bike apart, yeah.
Why?
My son asking all the big questions. Why indeed?
Because I have to take it apart in order to eventually put it back together again.
My C-spanner was too small, so while I wait for a larger one to come, I put some caster wheels on the engine stand and rolled it outside for a good clean.
Oh, green was saving. I wonder we can do food okay.
Yeah, I do remember that time we degreased an engine on the driveway with Dad. And then to complete the family picture, my wife helped me lift it onto the cabinet, though I'm not sure there was a fair division of weight going on here. So that's it. The bike is now more or less stripped to its component parts. From now on, only clean parts are going back together, which means next up, I need to get to work on restoring the frame and the swing arm. But for now, I'm going to stand back and take a look at my wall-mounted ZX7R.